Welcome into another episode of the Laser Bros podcast. We are your hosts, Logan and Luke Lazarchik. Recording on a Friday this week. I've been dealing with a little bit being under the weather. Luke,
Mm-hmm.
whoever he had, gave it to me. So I've been
My
kind of dealing with
bad.
that.
My bad.
So it's all good. We probably got it during watching Super Bowl. So that's why we're recording later this week. Luke, how are you? I know you're going to see a movie here in a couple hours, and I know
Yeah.
you're looking forward to it.
No, yeah, I got Dune 2 coming up. Good movie. First Dune's really good. Fake patties in Manhattan tomorrow, so that's always fun. Good times, good times. We got K-State basketball, Big 12 tournaments coming up for me soon. Those K-State women's need to pick it up a little, which I think they can do. Just need to work some stuff out. And the men's fighting to make it March Madness, which I also think they can do. So it should be a fun couple weeks here. It's March,
Yeah, we have
baby.
March Madness is coming up, and we have a fun episode for you guys today. We have our full first round mock draft. We did a mock draft, I think, a few weeks ago. First 18 picks, which were the non-playoff teams, but today we will be doing a full mock draft. Hopefully, nothing breaks in the middle of a
Yeah.
mock draft that
There's
alters our
been some
picks.
releases today.
There have been releases, but I'm thinking, a big trade or trade for a quarterback, Justin Fields, something that
Yeah.
alters the draft board. But Luke, do you have anything you want to say before we get started?
Well, NFL combines right now. I think today is secondary and is there anyone else? Is it secondary and receivers? I know it's at least secondary because I think I saw Nate Wiggins, the Clemson corner, ran
Yeah,
like a
they said it's a hip
4.29.
flexor. Yeah, and they
Yeah,
said he heard something pop, but they think it's a hip flexor.
yeah.
But
And
go ahead.
who else? Who's Sweat from Texas? Dude's massive. You see his combine stuff yesterday?
I did, and Dallas Turner also had a really good showing
Oh, the
yesterday.
Patriots released J.C. Jackson about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I saw that, and I saw Washington also released Logan Thomas. So Washington
90
has
million. Yeah.
over 90 million in cap. So they're gonna be making some
That's
moves.
nuts.
They're gonna make some
NFC
moves.
East is so interesting. And then I saw at the NFC East as well that the Giants really want to trade up for a quarterback,
As they
which
should.
obviously that's trading up for a quarterback is so interesting this year because there's like the first three, and I think everyone knows it, and then it's like, but the
But the
first
thing
three
is,
teams are all expected to take them, so there's no like, it's weird.
well, it's also weird. The first two picks, let's say Giants do want to trade up, I don't think Chicago's gonna move, and then Washington's not gonna trade up to help a division rival. So I think it would only have to be 6-3.
Yeah, and it sounds like the Patriots really want a quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I saw that.
So
Yeah, it's just that it. I feel like every year where it's like this, there's always teams like, oh, they're not gonna take a quarterback. They'll trade out. But it's like these first three picks should all be quarterbacks. I don't.
Mhm.
Has that ever happened?
First three picks.
Yeah.
What was the year? It was Baker Mayfield. Oh,
No,
Saquon was
because
2, and
yeah,
then Sam Darnold was 3.
and Allen went 7th.
Yeah, I don't know if there has been unless there's just one I can't think on the top of my head right now.
A little Google search real quick.
Yeah, we gotta get this mock draft going though.
Yeah, I know. I'm
But
just
go ahead.
interested.
But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just looking, man. Let's see. I'm not getting anything.
No, I
I've seen.
don't know.
I'm seeing first two picks. Wait, 1971.
Who
Jim
was in that draft?
Plunkett,
Yeah.
Jim Plunkett, Archie Manning. What's the
So in other words, it's pretty rare that the first three picks are all quarterbacks.
Yeah. Wait, who's the third one? Now it's being weird. Sorry, it's taking a little longer than I anticipated. And then Dan Pastoroni.
Okay. Should
Yeah,
we kick
that's
this
not
mock draft off?
Yeah, that's not the best draft in the world. Great way to yeah, not the best three quarterbacks in the world. Not terrible,
All right.
but yeah.
I'll let you kick off, and I think we're pretty much in lockstep for this first pick. I think we both got the same guy. I think it's pretty obvious.
No, yeah, we're going through 32 picks of stuff like this. Like, it's Caleb. You're not gonna convince me it's not Caleb. It's Caleb.
Yeah, it's Caleb, and I don't really think there's much argument for it. I think Chicago's already traded one first overall pick, which in the end was a
Pretty.
very smart move. Which I
Yeah.
thought at the time that they should have done it, but now that you get another shot at Caleb Williams is a really smart move. But yeah, I think it's pretty easy that Chicago
Yeah.
takes him.
The stuff with his dad is like slightly. It's concerning a little, but it's not enough to not take him. With
No,
his
I'm not going
dad
to
being
pass on
like,
that talent.
yeah, me
If
neither.
I'm wrong, if I'm Chicago and I'm wrong on Caleb Williams, then I'm wrong on
Then
Caleb
you're
Williams.
just wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Next pick, and so we'll alternate. So I'll do this pick first, and you'll do the third pick first, and so on.
Hmm.
I actually have Jane Daniels going second overall
I
to the
knew it.
Washington
I knew it. I
Commanders.
would have bet my life you would have put Jaden Daniels.
Why is that?
Because, okay, Drake May right now, I feel like he's getting so much hate right now. Jaden Daniels getting so much love. And do you know what's going to happen? I have Drake May. It's going to be draft. It's going to be more and more in March. It's going to be more and more. And then once it hits April, it's like, oh, Drake May's the second pick. I like
Well,
Jaden Daniels.
here's why I think Washington is going to end up making this selection. One, I think Jane Daniels last season was a much better quarterback, and I
No, he's
know the
better. I'd
full
agree.
resume, but Drake May, even when I was watching him last year, there were times I'm like, this guy does not. I mean, he was playing a subpar competition. He would not, and I know he averaged over 300 yards a game passing, but there's times where I was like, this guy doesn't look like, being a top 3 quarterback or not. He's a top 3 quarterback, but a top 3 pick and the second best overall quarterback. And Jane Daniels, the only real concern I've had with him was just his frame. But I think once he gets in the NFL, he'll build out a little bit more. I actually think in Cliff Kingsbury's offense, I think Jane Daniels fits more of that spread offense. And I think this is actually a much safer pick than taking Drake May. I think Drake May still has a lot of things he needs to polish. And I just think Washington ends up taking Jane Daniels.
See, okay, here's how I view it. So Drake May was fantastic his sophomore year. And he had good weapons, but he didn't have unholy weapons. He had good weapons. And then he didn't have Devontae Walker for some time because the NCAA is stupid with their eligibility. But then he gets him. He does pretty well, but there's still struggles. North Carolina, I think they lost a lot of their offensive line, lost running backs.
Josh Downs wins
Yeah.
that draft.
Yeah, so I just don't think they had a lot. And I think the ACC is a little better defensively than people think. Like North Carolina State, I went to go see them against K-State. Defensive game, and they ever have their best defensive player, Peyton Wilson, who ran a great 40. That dude should be a stud. I was really looking forward to seeing him, and they didn't play. And so I still and Drake May can make every throw. He's pretty athletic. I mean, see him make runs. You see him make these great throws. And then I like Jaden Daniels, but he did win 8 games, and he had potentially 2 first-round receivers.
Very true. Very true.
And I know, throw it back to Joe Burrow. I know we'd argue, and you love the receivers. I love Chase. I didn't think obviously I was wrong. Jefferson's insane, but that was the best team ever, and they went undefeated. But LSU only won 8 games, and I know defense was terrible, but still, I like May. I think it's Herbert-esque how people are kind of discrediting him a little bit, and so I think in the end he'll still go too.
And it is interesting that Chicago passed up on Mahomes years ago. They may end up with Caleb Williams, who's been his pro comp is Mahomes, and Washington had the chance to draft Justin Herbert at the time. Chase Young was kind of locked in at that pick, but now they get another quarterback that's his pro comp is Justin Herbert. So that's another interesting storyline that I think could play on the draft as well.
No, yeah, that's a little funny. That's just one of those weird things that you kind of appreciate.
Mm-hmm. How do you see the third pick playing out?
I mean, we probably don't. I'd have Jaden Daniels to the Patriots, so we just have it flip flop. A lot of momentum is riding with Daniels to 2, but I think Vegas still agrees with me, and Vegas, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, and I think if it plays out the way I have it, where Drake May is available at 3rd, I think New England's more inclined to trade the pick. Like they like if it was Jan Daniels, I think they would just take him without hesitation. But I think if Drake May's there, they may consider actually trading out that pick.
Why do you say that?
I think John, because I think out of the 2, I think they preferred Jaden Daniels out of the 2, and I think Drake May. Here's what I'll say. I don't think they'll trade like out of the top 10. Like let's say Giants move up from 6 to 3. I could definitely see the Patriots taking that trade and then maybe, and I wouldn't agree on the selection, but possibly taking JJ McCarthy or possibly trading back again. But I think
we
I
just
think it's
don't
more.
know.
Well, of
It's
course,
kind
yeah.
of, but
All of
that's
this
kind
this
of
whole mock draft is
anticipating.
just
I know, but that's kind of anticipating, like, oh, they like this guy over him. You can't say that. Also, Patriots have $100 million cap space now for cutting J.C. Jackson.
yeah. There's a lot of teams have a lot of cap space, especially with the
The
cap
top
space
three
going
picks
up.
all have the top three teams. All the teams we just said all have over 80 or over 70 or 60. They're all up
That
there.
even makes it more of a that makes it more that these teams are going to take quarterback and just
Yes.
spend around them and get pieces around to help out the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you have
Agreed.
it for? Do you have a trade here? Do you have do you have Arizona State
I do
here?
not have a trade here. I just have Marvin. I have Arizona getting Marvin. I think he's a great receiver. He's insane. I mean, yeah, that's another obvious one. He's so flipping good, Marvin.
Yeah, I think the first 4 picks I think are pretty. You can change the order a little bit, maybe, but I think the first 4 picks are pretty obvious. I also have Marvin Harrison Jr., and I'm not really concerned about the thing that happened today with him not showing up. I mean, it's definitely a question mark that some teams that it may pop up for some teams, but I'm not too over concerned about it.
No, me neither. Me neither. This may be one of the more solidified, like, top 4 picks. Maybe there's a time looking back that there was picks secured. It was like, oh, we know it's these 4 guys, but this feels pretty solid.
Yeah, I think maybe the year where was it 2020, 2021? 2021 with like Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson. We kind of had an idea that the first 2 were Trevor Lawrence.
Who's the
Third was
third?
Lance. Lance was third, and fourth was.
Oh,
Wait, so that's okay. That was the last one. Pretty cool.
Oh my gosh!
That draft did not work out well. So
no, it did
hopefully,
not.
no.
Trevor's not even looking too great, but it's all about landing situations huge, and
yeah,
I don't think anyone would say the Jags are ran well.
Of course not. 5th pick, and I think this is kind of where things. I think this is where we may differ of who we have selecting. I have Joe Alt here. From
dang it,
lean up to the lean up like previous months. It was like I think they're taking Brock Bowers pass catching option for Justin Herbert, but at this point, Jim Harbaugh, he's going to emphasize winning the trenches, and I think Joe Alt's going to help that run game. And Greg Roman is also a run first offense coordinator,
yes.
So I think I think this is probably going to be the pick at this moment.
I think with the depth of receiver, I mean the Chargers with their second round pick can go get anyone like. Just depending on what teams like. I don't like Coleman. It won't be Coleman. That's just a bad fit. So like a Coleman or a Mitchell or a Franklin or a Polk. So I think
Brian Thomas, maybe he'll be available. But I don't know.
Oh yeah, Brian Thomas. There's so many. But maybe they like Worthy. But yeah, I have Alt. Same thing. I
really thought we were going to differ here. I really
think I've been on the Alt. I've been on the Alt or Fashanu train for one of them, which is funny because they're running against on FanDuel. Did I send you that? How you could bet against who runs a faster 40?
No, I thought I told you about that.
Oh, you did tell me. Oh yeah,
I told you about that.
I put $10 on Fashanu.
It's so crazy you could bet.
It's so dumb. I mean, I know I'm falling. It's dumb.
I sports bet a lot, probably too much. But when I say that this is dumb, betting, then it's dumb. Like NFL Combine, I think if you can bet like max, or it was like over under, like 47 or
4.275
bench reps, or like bench press reps you can bet on. It's like what is it? It doesn't make sense. I think it's stupid.
No, yeah, I agree, but of course I did it because I'm an idiot.
6th pick. This is your pick, right? That you pick. You go first.
No, wasn't I on? Oh yeah,
no.
We may have got lost. Who knows? But I'm 6. Yeah. I'm evens now. So look at the Giants.
Crap, I did mess
up. But you took the last. It doesn't matter. We're good.
Yeah.
But looking at the Giants, they're in a similar situation. Do you take receiver or line? And I was about to lean for Shanu, but then I was like, you know what? The Giants just need a difference maker because they drafted Andrew Thomas, and he's fantastic, but it's not making any difference. Even though having a right tackle would help a lot. I'm going Malik Neighbors. I think
You're copying my draft.
You're a Dunze guy. I thought.
I have Neighbors, but because I've been watching not film, but I've been watching stuff on YouTube of these players. Malik Neighbors is Because I think Odunze, I really like Odunze, but Malik Neighbors, he separates after the catch. It's like his quickness and elusiveness it's crazy. Like
No,
I don't think there's that much of a gap between him and Marvin Harrison. I think Marvin Harrison is still one, but I don't think there's as big a gap as many people think there is between those two.
If Neighbors has a better rookie year, like I wouldn't be shocked.
Mm-hmm.
They're all three studs, which is wild. And I like Odunze. I think I would have liked it if he was a little better in the they played Michigan, right?
Yeah.
And I know it's a great defense. Yeah, and just
there's some routes he missed. He didn't run right that game. Like there's a route where he ran too flat. If he carried it still over the top, I think Penix would have hit him. So
no, yeah, I like him a lot, but Neighbors is a dog. He's gonna be so good, I think. And this would give Daniel Jones the chance to be like, okay, I have Wendell Robinson who's good, Hyatt who shows potential, but now I have like the guys,
a lot of speed.
Yeah, and Daniel Jones is good deep ball. I don't care what you say. And then Neighbors, so like make that work enough as long as the O-line doesn't suffocate him again. But maybe because I think they need more interior. So in that second, and they have 2 second-round picks, so that's when you can go interior line, in my opinion, for Giants.
Yep, I'm like Neighbors as well. Next pick, Tennessee Titans. I have them staying here. I have them taking Brock Bowers.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of an obvious pick.
I was really at this point in the draft. I'm like, Tennessee doesn't need offensive linemen, but if I'm Tennessee, and I think it's what Tennessee does ultimately, if this plays out, you have to get some pass catching options for Will Levis. It's DeAndre Hopkins, who's 32, and that was about it for Tennessee last year. And Brock Bowers in the middle of the field, he could run block. He can beat linebackers really easily off the ball. I think this is pretty much a no-brainer pick for Tennessee.
No, I agree. I think that you need someone to be a difference maker for Will Levis, and I feel like it's been pretty known. Brock Bowers kind of said he wants to go to Tennessee. Tennessee was like the first team to talk to him, I think, at the combine.
It just seems the Colts, right. I think Colts talked to him too, but I think that was more like extensive. I think it was like a long meeting. Everybody in Colts organization was talking to him. But I think Tennessee was the first team to meet with them.
That's just kind of a fun thought. He would have to slip.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fun thought with the Colts. But I think it's a good pick. Same pick as you.
We need some.
I mean, at least we're different. Picks are. Oh, I just feel like we're about to make the same pick here.
Okay. Yeah, pick 8. Go ahead.
Falcons.
Here we go.
I feel like the talk has been all about them getting a quarterback, and I don't. This is not the quarterback I'd take, but it seems like the momentum is to JJ McCarthy, and come on.
Can I read you a few stats about JJ McCarthy this year? Can I read you a few?
Wait, was that your pick?
God, no.
Oh, I wouldn't take McCarthy, but this is
okay. But can I just read you a few stats?
Oh yeah,
it was just this past year. In 7 of 15 games, he threw for under 160 yards in 7 of 15 games.
No, I know.
He had 22 touchdowns this year. Half of those came against Indiana, East Carolina, and Michigan State. All awful teams, just all awful. And then in the last 5, or in the final 5 of 7 games, he didn't throw a touchdown. He had 0 touchdowns in 5 of the last 7 games.
Okay, I think touchdowns a little overrated.
But 0.
No,
like I don't get all the hype around this guy.
Okay,
really
here.
And I know scouts know more than me and all that. I just don't understand. Like I know it's what he can be. So probably based on I think it's just based on potential, but I don't think he even has that high.
Here's the
potential.
thing. Can I explain it? Okay. I don't agree with it fully, but I understand it. So there is the potential. He has the traits. I still think remember that throw? It was he threw it to
Johnny Manziel had a lot of those type of plays.
Okay, no, but that's Johnny Manziel. Logan.
Johnny Manziel's a complete, yeah. But I know, but there's those same type of plays where he.
Okay, but but it was the one-handed catch and falling spin turn throw. That's like a rare. Yes, that's great athleticism. So he has the athleticism. He has the arm. You don't always see it all the time. but he was able to play on a great team and not like make it about himself, and he just managed the game. And I think teams like that he was able to manage the game. He was able to win. He lost one game in his college career, 2 years starting at Michigan. So he's a winner. He can manage the game, and he has the physical traits. So I think the thought is a team thinks we get him in our building, we're gonna, and we get a good system around him, and we know how the offense works, everything. We're gonna build him into something really, really good. So I think that's the thought process. But who is your eighth? Who do you have the Falcons taking?
I thought, to be honest, I thought there's gonna be another obvious pick that we both agreed on. I have Dallas Turner, and it's not even about
Hmm.
high performance at the combine. Yesterday, I had Dallas Turner in our last mock draft we did.
Mm-hmm.
I think for Falcons, they need a pass rusher. They don't really have that many holes in the roster. Defensively, pretty good in the secondary. I think they just need a pass rusher. And Dallas Turner, I think, is going to be the best pass rusher out of this draft class. And I think they're either going to get Justin Fields or Kirk Cousins. So
It sounds like they don't want either of them, though. So that's why I went with quarterback and I went with McCarthy.
I think
It
Dallas
just,
Turner,
it's,
freak athlete. I think and to help that defense. I think they have
I
everything
like
else in
Turner.
place except quarterback and pass rusher. But I think they end up getting Kirk Cousins or Fields.
It just
I know
sounds
that
like they don't want it.
may not. It's not trained that way, but I think they end up getting one of those guys. Ninth pick. We talked about this guy earlier, Romo Dunze for Chicago is my selection here. I think for Chicago, you can make an argument that maybe they go get a pass rusher or possibly even trade this pick. But they made so many trades and so many like trading back in the draft. I think that at this point they get a receiver to pair with Caleb Williams and allow him to quicker his development. So now you would have Romo Dunze and DJ Moore on the outside, which I think would be a really good tandem.
I thought about Odunze, but I did not go Odunze. I did not go Odunze because I think for the simple fact they have money. They have a lot of money.
Do you think they're going to get another receiver? You think they're just going to pay another receiver?
I mean, not a one, but maybe someone else. I don't have an exact name in mind.
Okay, Marquise Brown or Odunze?
I mean, but you're getting but it's the player that you're going to draft instead. I mean, I'd rather have Odunze, but Brown is cheaper. And I just think that they're not going to go huge on receiver. But I thought about it. But I went with Dallas Turner, who you talked about earlier. No, one of the best defenders on Bama, near national champion, freak athlete, as was seen in this combine. And I think they may just go all on. Like, we have Montez Sweat, who's been pretty good. Okay, solid trade. We'll see how good it truly is. I think if you got a pretty dang good pass rusher, I think it's worth it for a second round pick. And then you can get a second one, another young guy who you won't pay for years. I think it's a good fit, and then you could spend more on offense in the free agency.
I definitely understand that pick. I think for Chicago, they've already invested so much defense in the past couple of drafts. I think, and they already messed up Justin Fields. That didn't work. I think they're going to do everything in their power to get the pieces around Caleb Williams. And now, like you said, they can definitely pay a receiver. But I think if you could pair Caleb Williams with another rookie receiver and they kind of grow together and develop together, that's the route I think they go.
Mm-hmm.
But I absolutely understand your pick. 10th pick, New York Jets. I think this is another obvious.
It's my turn.
It is your turn. It is your turn.
Yeah, come on, man. I think, as you were about to say, it's another obvious pick. I assume we have the same guy here. Fashanu, Penn State tackle. What? No. Oh, I have Fashanu because I think it's obviously it's not like we're O-line experts, but Fashanu and all kind of trust the experts on the O-line because it's not like I can get all 22 tape and then break down Fashanu all. But I got Fashanu here. You need to protect the Aaron Rodgers, and the offensive line was brutal. Got hurt. I mean, I think this is obvious. Fashanu, stable left tackle next to Vera Tucker, figure some stuff out. I think it's pretty simple.
I have Talise Fuaga of Oregon State. Okay. So another offensive lineman, but eyes out just a different order. Like you said, Jets needed a left tackle. There was a part of me like a couple weeks ago or a week ago thinking that they may. So I think Packers end up cutting David Bakhtiari. There was part of me that thought Jets just pick up David Bakhtiari and go elsewhere, but I think at this point you just want to get a steady, young left tackle that you know is going to be available. So I don't disagree with who you have necessarily. I think Fuaga is a better fit for the Jets.
First off, Bakhtiari is going to get hurt in that MetLife.
That's what I'm saying. Like that but it's such a Jets move. Because at this point, It's just the Aaron Rodgers team at this point. It's
But
not
it
like
seems like now that we all know it's the Aaron Rodgers team, I think they're going to scale back on that.
oh,
I
yeah,
think they'll be like, I think the pressure, and they're going to be like, okay, we can't do this another season.
yeah, yeah. Good luck, Jets fans. Have fun. 11th pick. I have the Vikings staying here, and I have them taking. I want to do this, but I think they end up taking JJ McCarthy if they can't work out a trade to get in top 3. I think if this is the route they go, I think they sign Kirk Cousins for probably a 2-year deal. Let JJ McCarthy sit for a year or two, and then unleash him later on down the road.
I also have a quarterback, but I have Bo Nix.
Okay.
And I was debating between Penix and Nix, but I feel like the Vikings are going to go with someone who's more athletic because Kirk has been more of a pocket quarterback. Bo Nix can be a pocket quarterback, but he has the athleticism. And I think he'd come in right away if you keep Justin Jefferson. You can fully let Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, they can have a pretty good year. Wouldn't be the same, obviously. And maybe you devote more to the running game. They just cut Alexander Madison, so maybe it's Ty Chandler or they go get some other direction with that. But I agree with quarterback, and I got Bo Nix.
Who do you have at 12?
12th pick. Now, Denver, I don't think they're keeping Wilson, so the thought is Penix. But in my head, I was just like, I just don't see it. And this guy slipped far. I don't even know if you noticed. He slipped in mine. I got Romo Dunze to Denver.
I didn't even realize it. Wow. I didn't realize. To be honest, I didn't even realize that. I didn't even realize it.
I think that they're going to be done with Jerry Jeudy. He's a fine receiver. He's not special, in my opinion. I think Sean Payton will bring in someone. Don't know who. I could see him just going like 3rd round, Spencer Rattler or something like that. I can just see that. Sean Payton doing like his own little unique thing. And Odunze at 12 is such a good value. Sutton and Odunze, that could be killer. And
Yeah, 2 physical
as a
receivers.
Chiefs fan, I'd be like, oh God, no, not cool. I mean, I want to be scared, but I'd be like, dang, that's good.
Well, I have Bo Nix going to Denver. I think Denver's going to take a quarterback, and I think for Bo Nix, the reason I think it makes more sense, like I think if JJ McCarthy and Bo Nix are both available to spot, I think Denver would actually take Bo Nix because I think of the experience, and I don't think Sean Payton wants to have a project at quarterback. I think he kind of wants somebody that's going to get the job done early and that's somebody you can depend on. He's already had Russell Wilson for a year, and he's already moving off of him. I think Bo Nix, he's 24. He has a bunch of college starts, and I think it's just a really good fit in Denver. I think he has experience, like I just said, and I think he will be able to lead that offense from day one.
If Bo Nix was there, I would have taken Bo Nix. If I would have put Penix with Minnesota, I just think that they wouldn't take someone with injury concerns. I think Penix injury concerns are a real issue here for him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Pick 13. I have Las Vegas Raiders just stay at the spot, and I have them taking cornerback Terrion Arnold out of Alabama. Somebody that's going to, I think, fits that defensive scheme. And I think for the Raiders, they're going to go either a corner in the secondary, which I think is the number one need, or they're going to try to trade up in the draft. But I just don't think they'll end up working a trade out to move up. So I don't think they force a pick here on Penix or anything like that. And I think they take a position of need that they really have had a hole in for years now.
No, I can't hate on that. I think that's a good pick. And I'm staying with defense. I think that I think in their mind they want to win. I think their game plan is going to be quarterback, offensive line, pass rush. So I'm going pass rush. I'm going Jared Verse. And I think they want someone next to Crosby.
Not to interrupt you, but pass rush. I mean, they invested a top 7 pick last year. I know it hasn't worked out, but
I think you just have to. But this is, I think it's Antonio Pierce. It's a new head coach, new GM. They're going to just do what they want, in my opinion. I think they are not going to give a damn about who was picked where. So I think they're going to just say, we want Jared Verse. We want someone next to Crosby. We want to attack the quarterback. This is just how I see Antonio Pierce. He's going to do things his way, and I respect the hell out of it. And so I think they're just going to go get Jared Verse and then hope that they can have this dynamic pass rushing duo. And because remember last week, if you watched or listened, I had Kirk Cousins to Las Vegas, and I really like that. I'm not gonna lie. as an overall fit, not as a Chiefs fan.
Well, yeah, and I think at this point, it makes some sense now because I
Mhm.
think Kirk Cousins is actually one of the hardest free agents to predict where he lands.
I think
Because it's
he's
not
like one of the
Minnesota,
more
it's like
fun.
yeah.
It's
I think
fun.
there's a lot of places he can land.
You don't get quarterbacks in free agency like this often.
Mhm.
I think it's fun.
How do you see pick 14 playing out?
Pick 14. I'm gonna take your last pick and give it to the Saints. Terry and Arnold. They also obviously they've had some success at cornerback, but it seems like they kind of value the position. And Marshawn Lattimore, he's pretty good, but with their cap stuff, he may be gone in a couple of years. Who knows? I mean, they keep finding ways to figure out their cap, and he's really good. I think the Saints just take the value here, get another cornerback, try to make that defense even better. And the Saints are a weird team. They're a weird
Mm.
team.
I I had a
Right?
tough one
Derek
with
Carr and
yeah, it's and they're moving so much money around. Like they've restructured
but like
so many
they never
contracts.
suck. They never suck.
I mean, they were pretty bad this year, and I think much of that
I
was
know, but they
because of
still
Derek
won.
Carr.
How many games did they win? I'm checking.
7, 8.
Yeah, they won. No, they went 9-8. I mean, they went over 500. They just find ways to win these games.
I know, but I think they're just gonna hang around this bubble of mediocrity. I think that's
I
what they're
mean,
gonna
no,
be. I think it's
likely but they're just a weird team. It makes them a
yeah.
weird team.
Well, I think this is the best player on the board, and I think Saints they need help on the offensive line. I have them taking Olu Fashanu.
Oh
They've kind
man,
of
he
missed
fell
on
to
yeah.
Saints.
I have Saints have kind of missed a couple picks on offensive lineman. They spent a 2022 first round pick on offensive lineman. He hasn't worked out. So I
Mm-hmm.
think Saints they invest more in the offensive line, and Derek Carr's not a mobile quarterback. So I think you have to have a strong unit up front to protect him.
Yeah, can't. That's a good pick. O line was another consideration I had, but they just always feel like a defensive pick to me.
Mm-hmm. Pick 15, I have the Colts going cornerback Nate Wiggins out of Clemson. Colts really, I think, defensively and because of offensively, they play with such tempo that defensively they're going to be in shootouts, and you need to have some players on the back end to hold defenses down. And Colts were really not that great of a defense. And I was kind of debating a pass rusher here, but I think Nate Wiggins, I think he fits the Colts, what they are. And I think he ran a 4.29, and I think that's kind of elevate his draft stock.
I can't hate the pick. This is my trade.
Okay. I'm interested
This
what
and
player it
Logan,
is.
this is like you would never predict this trade. It's a very not too. I have the Rams trading up from 19 to 15 for Laitu Latu, the UCLA pass rusher.
Interesting.
And my mindset is this: they have a lot of picks. I'm just
They have
pulling
11
up their
picks this
stats.
year.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the stats because I'm looking at my phone. And you still have Aaron Donald, and they made two pretty dang good defensive lineman picks at Kobe Turner, who had 9 sacks, and Byron Young, who had 8 sacks. And so, in my mind, I think if they see Latu here, I think they say, "Do you know what? We can have just a killer pass rush." The 2 second year guys who get even better. Two, Donald's in the interior, and then outside Donald. But Latu's more talented than the 2 they got, and they had 17 combined sacks. So I think that's a chance to just bring a killer pass rush into the NFL and to supplement their great offense. They got to build pieces, and I think they just made a little make a little trade up here, get Latu, and just try to form a young killer defensive front. And then once Donald moves out, you have these guys there. And I saw that. I was like, I don't think they'd let him go any further.
I like the pick. I actually think it's a really smart move, and I think definitely realistic. And we'll get into my Rams pick later, but kind of same thought process.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you have at pick 16? And that's currently
Picks.
held by the Seattle Seahawks.
So I thought about Penix here, but I didn't do it. And because in my mind, I think this is going to be a Geno Smith, Drew Lock battle this year, like a true one. Drew Lock has shown some more promise when he's played. Nothing insane, but he has the tools and maybe he's getting more mature. Like Baker, but different because Baker was pretty good as a rookie. But I have Jackson Powers Johnson, the center from Oregon. I mean, he's like the best interior lineman by a mile. I know they've got improved the offensive line, but I feel like this could be where you make it even better and you solidify the whole front. You have two running backs who are studs. You got your receivers. I think this is just I think it's a nice way to supplement the offense and then really see what you got in Geno or Drew Lock.
That's another pick that I like. I actually have this is my first trade. I have Seattle trading
Ooh.
this pick to the Philadelphia Eagles,
Whoa.
and I have the Eagles taking cornerback Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Mm.
And in my mock draft, there's been a run of cornerbacks, and I think the Eagles, if this is how it plays out, they're going to feel that they have to get a cornerback, so they're not going to risk any more of these defensive backs going off the board. So I think they take Kool-Aid McKinstry. So this is my first trade of this mock draft.
I like Kool-Aid McKinstry. I think he was hurt, and his
Yeah, he
stock
has
has
a
kind of
fractured
gone
foot,
down.
which, yeah, and I made this draft yesterday. So when that came out today, it was like, man, does this change my
But I
draft
think he was
process?
hurt during the year, and I like Kool-Aid, so I think that's a pretty good pick. And in your mock draft, yeah, you had corners going more than mine.
Is it me? I'm leading this pick, right?
Yeah, yeah, your
17th
odds, man.
overall, Jacksonville Jaguars. I have them taking offensive tackle J.C. Latham. Trevor Lawrence was pretty beat up last season, picked up multiple injuries throughout the last 5-6 weeks of the season. And to be honest, Jacksonville's such a weird team. I think they could go corner. They could potentially go receiver if they really liked one. But I think you have to protect Lawrence. He was beat up last year, and if he gets hurt, they're really not going to go anywhere. And Doug Pearson's coaching for his job, so I think the most important job is to have Trevor Lawrence available.
I can't hate that pick. I thought about offensive line because I still have Latham available at my spot. I have Mims from Georgia available, so I thought about it. But you said receiver. I am going Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU. I
Interesting.
think that where they are at, they don't have like an athletic freak at receiver.
So,
Ridley's a nice route runner, but
can I
he's
ask
figuring
some?
out.
So, if with this pick, do you have them moving on from Calvin Ridley? Then
I
is
think
that
it could
your
be keeping him or not keeping him or letting him go. I think it could be either or
okay?
because I think they don't have an athletic freak. Ridley's a nice route runner, and if he gets his steam, Kirk is a nice route runner too. But then like you have Zay Jones, who's like pretty good athletically, but not a freak. I think Brian Thomas could be like a much better Zay Jones. So I think you say, okay, let's see if we can really get someone to take the top off, someone who maybe it could just be like you can't on certain days, Brian Thomas you can't stop, and Lawrence is throwing him buttes. So I went with that's an aggressive pick. I feel like, but I can see
It definitely
Jacksonville
makes sense
doing it.
though, because when you watch Jacksonville last year, it was really kind of some conservative offense. They really didn't hit any big shots down the
Hmm.
field. I mean, they
No,
would hit
they
it
did
time to
not.
time, but it just wasn't consistent enough. And Calvin Ridley wasn't consistent enough. So I definitely get where you're coming from with the pick. I just think for me, I saw Trevor Lawrence get beat up last year, so I thought protection was the most important part of this pick.
Mm.
Who do you have at pick 18?
The Bengals. I have Jason Newton, the defensive tackle from Illinois. The Bengals. They're just a very solid team, and I think they're gonna get Burrow back, and I don't see him going O line again in the first round. And they have a lot of talent on defense. And Newton is the clear number one defensive tackle in this draft. And I'm just thinking if they can go get Newton, just like I think they're a talent accumulation team, and Newton could help stop the run. He can maybe put some stuff pass rushing. And the Bengals have a really good defense. And I think if Newton's there at 18, I just think like, dang, that guy's still there. Bengals should just swoop him up.
Yeah, I actually have Bengals taking another offensive lineman, which I know you just said you disagree with
Hmm.
pretty heavily. But I think Joe Burrow kind of falls in the same boat as Trevor Lawrence. Of he's just been injury and not Trevor Lawrence hasn't been as injury riddled as Burrow has, but Burrow's been hurt. It seems like every year he's been a starter.
Yeah.
So I think they get more protection. They've really missed. They keep taking swings and miss, and they keep missing on these offensive linemen. But I think they go again for offensive linemen. I have them taking Amarius Mims out of Georgia.
I could see that. Mims is good. And is that like your last main guy? Or like I know that's like the top
For
five, but some people have more linemen.
Is that? Are you saying is that the last offensive lineman I have going first round?
No, I think that's like the top. That's like the last of like that main group.
Yeah,
There
that
could be
tier.
more in the
Yeah.
first round.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pick 19, and this player has slipped down the board. So you have the Rams taking Latu.
Yeah.
I think you have him trading up to 15. I have the Rams taking Jared Verse out of Florida State.
Oh, that'd also be good.
Yeah, I think he kind of slips a little bit, and it's not because of the player or anything. I think just because of needs that other teams have. But I think the Rams get Jared Verse, and kind of similar to what you were saying, I think they need a pass rusher. Offensively, the only really holes that they have on offense is probably offensive line. But as we just talked about, I think the top tier of offensive linemen just came off the board. So I think they end up taking a pass rusher that could help Aaron Donald and help this defense. I think offensively, I think they pretty much are set, but defensively they need some help still.
No, that's a good pick. So this was where I had the Colts trade back to, and I also had them taking a cornerback. But you had Wiggins, right?
Yes.
So they do like the freak athletes, but I have Keanu Mitchell from Toledo. I mean, he ran the Wiggins was 4.28, Mitchell was 4.33. So he's right there as in really good athletes from Toledo. He's really risen up as of late in the eyes of mock drafts and all that. And I know last year drafted former Wildcat, go Cats, Julius Brent, now Juju Brents, which is weird. But I agree with the cornerback sentiment. I just have Mitchell, a little different.
Pick 20. So we have about 13 picks left, or 12 picks left. Who do you have at pick 20?
Pick 20. Steelers was tough. I thought about Penix again. But I was like, they're not going to draft Penix. I just decided, like, they're not doing it. I have J.C. Latham here. I think this is where they can kind of solidify the offensive line even more. I think it was better last year, but maybe this could be the piece that makes it something else. And maybe if you keep Pickett, he turns into something solid, even though, I mean, that's not, I wouldn't keep Pickett. But J.C. Latham, just try to solidify the O-line more. You have a good rushing game. Just try and make it even better.
I also have Pittsburgh taking offensive lineman. I have taking Troy Fatanu out of Washington. He could play either tackle or guard, so I think he has versatility. And I think they drafted Broderick Jones last draft, and I think that maybe you could put Troy Fatanu next to Broderick Jones and solidify that side of the line.
No, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. I agree with the O line. I like them taking O lineman.
Pittsburgh was one of the tougher picks for me. Like
now they are because they're kind of
especially where they're slotted in the first round. It's just like it's just kind of tough to navigate that part. I really don't know where I don't think they go pass rusher at all.
No, they don't need one.
And like receiver, they have receivers. Quarterbacks, I think they've kind of learned the lesson that, and it seems like they're committed to Pickett for whatever reason, but like they reached on Pickett just because they had a needed quarterback, and I don't think they'll do that again just because there's a need there.
No, yeah, they're a weird team. They don't have many holes. So O-line seems solid.
21st pick, Miami Dolphins. I have them staying at this pick. Another offensive lineman for me. I've picked a lot of offensive linemen in this first round. I have them going Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon, interior offensive lineman. Pick. Best center in the nation this past season. I think for Miami, you have to protect Tua. If Bo Nix or J.J. McCarthy were somehow on the board at this point, I would have Miami taking one of them. But Michael Penix, I mean, I'm not going to draft another quarterback that's similar to Tua, not mobile, lefty. I mean, they're basically almost the same type of player, even though I think Penix has a way better arm. But I think at this point, they just have to get offensive linemen and solidify the interior, especially.
I don't disagree. But I'm taking Penix from Miami. I think this is where he falls. I think he's so, as you say, so similar, but he has that arm, and I think that could be what holding Tua back and Tua shorter. Penix was the injuries and Tua with the injuries, but now the Dolphins have had experience with a quarterback who has injury issues. So if they take Penix, like, okay, this is what we do with Tua. He played the whole year. This is what we're going to do with you. And so I just see it. I see it as a nice fit.
I think Miami should consider, like, part of me thinks that they should consider moving. Like, if there's let's say Bo Nix is available like at 15 or 16, I would consider trading up. Like I
think Mike McDaniel likes the quarterback of Tua and Penix, and I think if he were to move Tua, he's going with someone who's still the same.
And I believe we slightly disagree on Tua, but I would not pay him. That's just I'm
I
firmly on that
wouldn't
side.
pay him yet. I wouldn't pay him yet.
Well, you have to here soon.
Well, yeah, but I give him one more year. Or if I really like
Okay.
Penix, taking Penix.
Okay. How do you see the 22nd pick playing out?
So this is Eagles, and you had them traded up for Kool-Aid McKinstry, and I won't give a much valuation on it because I also have Kool-Aid McKinstry to the Eagles. I just don't have them trading up, and I think they need a corner, very talented corner. They like their SEC guys. Kool-Aid is good. I feel like he's the pick here.
Yep. So I had Seattle trading back to this pick, and I had them taking Michael Penix. Pretty obvious. He's from the Washington area. I think Seattle, when you hear the comments about Geno Smith, John Schneider saying he's our starter until he's not, the writing's on the wall that they want to make an upgrade at the quarterback position. He kind of had that 1 year. I think he's a 1 year wonder. Last year he regressed a lot. I think Michael Penix, if he's at 22, which I think he will be in this mock, I think Seattle takes him pretty quickly.
That'd be wild to trade back and then take a quarterback. So, I mean, you don't see that often. But I think Drew Lock's gonna be their starter by like week
Oh no,
4.
it's a different head coach. It's not Pete Carroll anymore. Pete Carroll's not there
I know,
anymore.
but Drew Lock was kind of good, and they have the same front office. I don't know. It's just a feel.
Pick 23, Houston Texans. I have them investing in the interior defensive line. I have them taking defensive tackle Byron Murphy out of Texas. When I was doing this mock draft, it was really tough because I have a pass rusher that's slipping right now, and I believe you know who it is. I'm not going to say the name,
Mm-hmm.
but it was really tough for me. Do you pair that edge rusher with Will Anderson, or do you help out the interior defensive line, which really needs a lot of help into the
So
season? I think Byron Murphy's a pick.
you
Pick here
have
for
him
Houston.
over Newton.
I do. Yes.
I went with pass rusher. I think the pass rusher that you're talking about is already gone in mine. So I think the Texans are going to build defense. And I know you talk about them getting receiver, and you didn't take receiver here, which is a little surprised. But I got Chop Robinson from Penn State. I like Chop. I know he got hurt. I think he got hurt in the Michigan game.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I had like some parlay that had Penn State winning. And when he got hurt, I was like, oh. But he's good. I think he's really good. You put him next to Anderson. You have a nice duo. I think a lot with pass rushers. I think that I see more than what I'm kind of predicting is teams trying to get these duos. I mean, I have that with the Raiders taking Verse and the Bears taking Turner. The Rams is more of a whole collective. So
yeah, because when teams only have one really good pass rusher, your offensive line can kind of focus on that and kind of slide the protection to that side to minimize his impact on the game.
I feel very similarly on cornerbacks. It's like when you have a duo, it's even better. I think duos in the NFL in position groups like edge rusher, tackle, corner, receiver. When you have a duo in those spots, that's really special. And I think teams try to go for that.
Did you say linebacker?
No, not linebacker. I said O-line.
I know, but I feel like if you have two really I don't value linebackers that much, but if you have two really good ones, I mean,
Yeah, but that's more
when you have
like
two
you
really good
try to
ones.
do that in not first round ways, unless they're
True,
stud,
true,
unless like guaranteed.
So
this is my pick.
24th pick is yours, yeah.
So I was thinking receiver here a little bit with the Cowboys, but they just love offensive linemen. So I'm going to Lisi Fuga. How do you pronounce that, Logan?
Talise
Fuaga from Oregon State. You know, Tyron Smith's getting old. They have a good O-line still. But I could just see him moving on and saying, okay, let's get younger, continue to build this offensive line. I have a little run of offensive linemen here coming up. But yeah, here. They just love O-line and they know how to pick them. They are so good at picking offensive linemen.
Yeah, we have the same thought process here. I just have Dallas taking Tyler Guyton, offensive tackle. I think, like you said, Tyron Smith's retiring, or not retiring, but not sure if they're going to be able to afford him. And they have to get younger at that position, especially because they're going to pay Dak Prescott, which that's another thing I disagree with, but they're going to. And you have to pay CeeDee Lamb, you have to pay Micah Parsons. You have to get young on the offensive line. So I agree with you that they take offensive linemen. I just have one that still like we pretty much disagree on Fuaga. I have Fuaga at 10. You have him at 24. So
Yeah.
discrepancy at that pick. But yeah, we have the same thought process.
Mm-hmm.
Pick 25, Green Bay Packers. I actually have them trading this pick, and this is my second trade of the mock draft. I have them trading to the Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh.
So Ravens, they jump in front of Buffalo, and they take a receiver. And I know they've taken receiver first round a lot. They took Bateman, they took Marquise Brown, they took Zay Flowers, but Bateman seems to be a miss. There seems to be a disconnect there. Odell's a free agent. Not sure if he's worth bringing back. So now you really only have Zay Flowers and Aguilar as a receiver core. I haven't taken Brian Thomas Jr. at LSU, big body receiver. Lamar Jackson kind of struggles with the deep ball, but if you have a big guy down the field that you don't have to be super accurate with, and he can make a play on the ball. So I think Brian Thomas is a pick here.
That's pretty good. With Odell, I feel like if he's a wide receiver 3 with 2 good wide receivers, I think that's perfect for him at this stage because I think he's number 1 in air yards per reception or something. So he still has the threat, but he just can't do it every week.
Yeah, I don't know if they even bring it back.
No, yeah, I don't know. He's an interesting free agent.
Mm-hmm.
Is this my pick?
Oh, would you already make your 25th pick?
Oh, I didn't make my 25th pick. I was about to skip to 26. Jeez, Luke, come on. 25th pick.
Yeah.
With the 25th pick, Packers also great at taking offensive linemen. As we know, they had a lot flow in the past couple of years, in and out, injuries and all that. Bakhtiari is probably going to be gone. So I had another tackle here. Amarius Mims fell all the way here as well. So I think you see back-to-back tackles. Good value for both Cowboys and Packers. And with Mims here, probably put him at left tackle. They may move him right tackle. They move stuff around a lot. But they always do a pretty good job.
offensive line so well.
No,
they're really good.
It makes it's so weird how some teams are just so good at certain things. But I got Mims here. It's not a sexy pick. I mean, their whole offense, they don't need receivers. They don't need running backs. Don't need a quarterback. Your defense is pretty dang good. Offensive line just seems obvious here for Green Bay.
I like that pick. I think actually it's a really smart pick. Pick 26. How do you have that one playing out?
Okay. Third straight offensive lineman. Tampa Bay's in a weird spot. It's a little tough because we don't know if they're going to keep Baker. I think I saw something that Baker to the Falcons is a chance.
Well, I saw Patriots. There's some people in the Patriots organization. It was Patriots.
It may have been Patriots, and I'm misremembering. That'd be wild. Then the Patriots would trade that pick. Oh, that'd be. I kind of like to see that, but it would have been cooler if Bill stayed and then is Baker. That would be wild. But I have them taking offensive line because you don't know what's happening with Baker and you don't know what's happening with Mike Evans. Graham Barton, Duke guard. I think he's also played tackle, so you can move him around a little bit. I think he had
22 starts at left tackle, actually. 28 starts he had left tackle.
Yeah. Their interior O-line has really been hurt, and it's older. I see him going here. Let's try to just get some stability, get a good guard who's played some left tackle, so maybe if you need to put him at tackle, could work. Graham Barton.
Well, this is a player that's been falling down my board, and this player I may be absolutely wrong on. He may be a top 10 pick, but Latu, I am going to Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Todd Bowles, defensive coach. I think they get another pass rusher. They're kind of getting old on defense. Who they just cut or released their linebacker. What linebacker was it? It wasn't Levante. They cut a linebacker, but they need a pass rusher. I think
Shaq Barrett.
Shaq Barrett. Yes, thank you. The name is slipping my mind. So I think defensive coach. I think receiver could be a spot here, but I think Latu falling this far down the draft. I think they take the best player off the board.
It's a good pick. If Latu's there, yeah. Latu's in the 20s.
Mm-hmm. Pick 27, I have the Cardinals, and I have them taking Jerzon Newton. So it's at Illinois. So, yep. I think Arizona seems like they always need help on the interior defensive line, and defensively, they need to lay a foundation there. And they have defensive head coach in Gannon, so I think they help out that defense a little bit.
I think that's a good pick. If he's in the 20s, that's pretty good. This cornerback has fallen some, especially I made this before his 40 time today, but Nate Wiggins, Arizona's always been like okay in the secondary. They get Buda Baker, they just overall pretty solid, and I think they grab another guy here, high potential with Nate Wiggins for Clemson. You take Marvin Harrison at 4. You probably want to go defense, especially because Jonathan Gant, you have a defensive coach, head coach. And so, yeah, Nate Wiggins here that's just to me, he was best. He would not sure if he was the best defense player available, but I think they'll like his potential, and they're good at the secondary a lot, and I think
Yeah,
they'll go for it.
and I think at this point in your mock draft, he's probably the best play. Like I'd rather take him than offensive lineman at this point. So
Yeah, and they've
I agree with that
invested
pick.
some in the line.
Yeah. Pick 28, Buffalo Bills.
So I think in my head, last week I said Marquise Brown to the Bills, and this receiver could fit with Marquise and Stephon there. It could be a nice three-headed thing if Shakir's the fourth, which Shakir'd probably be a good four. But I have Adonai Mitchell from Texas, very good route runner for his size. I think that Josh Allen could use some size on the outside because they just sort of had little fast, twitchy guys who are all the way there. And Diggs is not the same. Diggs is not the same. So Adonai Mitchell here, I think would be good. I think he'd have a high potential with Allen. I still think if it like let's just say Patrick Mahomes, not Patrick Mahomes, I think Josh Allen would be the clear best quarterback. And I think he'd probably have a Super Bowl by now. So I think maybe just give him that weapon. I think he'd have a Super Bowl. I think he'd have one. I don't know which year he'd have one.
Yeah, I definitely. I don't know if he would have one, but he would definitely. I think he'd be in multiple Super Bowl appearances already. Like
I think he would have got one done because I think once he gets to the Super, I just it sucks for him. It sucks for him.
well, it sucks for
Jeez,
any AFC quarterback.
I know, but like Burrow has like that one win in the AFC Championship game, and the Bengals have done well. Lamar has 2 MVPs. But like and Herbert, and I think Josh is
Well, I
better
think I
than
think Herbert
them
and Josh.
all.
Like I think Josh. Like Herbert hasn't had the playoff,
Yeah.
success, but playing in Mahomes' division every year, I mean, that's a sock.
No, those
Like
two have
you're
got the
basically you
toughest.
basically have to play for a wild card spot unless there's injuries on for the Chiefs or something like that. Like
Mhm.
you're most likely a wild card team each and every year, and even if you win your division, your home field advantage isn't really a home field advantage. So
No, yeah.
yeah.
I think Josh Allen's so good. If it weren't for Patrick Mahomes, I'd love Josh Allen, but I can't love Josh Allen as a Chiefs fan.
Well, I also have a receiver here. I just have a different one, and I know you're not a big fan of this player. I have Keon Coleman, and I don't even think he's the best receiver available left on the board, but I think Buffalo takes. I think he's explosive. He can make really good catches. His 40 times is going to be huge for him, and I really don't try to overreact to 40 times and all that. But if he runs a slow 40, because he kind of struggled with separation and all that. If he
Mm-hmm.
runs a slow 40, he could easily fall, you know, not deep in the second round, but he would definitely be a second round pick in my opinion if he runs a slow 40.
Yeah,
But yeah, I have Keon Coleman here.
I'm just not a big fan of his. He's big and he's not going to be DK in my opinion.
Like this
He's
pick,
not going to.
like I know I
I mean,
have him
maybe
taking
with
Keon
Josh
Coleman.
Allen, Josh Allen's one of the better quarterbacks for him.
Like I have him taking Keon Coleman, but I think he could be a better version of Gabe Davis. That's kind of how I see his role in the
That's
offense.
true.
Kind of better
No,
version of
Josh
Gabe
Allen could
Davis.
be a great fit for him.
Pick 29, Detroit Lions. A lot. This was another one where I was really torn between two players because they have a need at corner. But I
Mm-hmm.
have them taking edge rusher Chop Robinson. I think if you
You can't
compare him
hate
with
that.
if you compare him with Aiden Hutchinson, both Big Ten players, I think this is actually a really good pick for Detroit. And once they get that pass rush fully submitted or solidified, I think it'll help the back end. So I really like Chop Robinson to Detroit here.
If there's a pass rusher all of my main guys are gone, pass rusher wise, so I would consider pass rusher more, but he's just not available. And so I got Cooper DeJean. He's athletic freak from Iowa, great cornerback. I think everyone's excited to see his combine. And they need the secondary. And you got Brian Branch, but you need more. And so, I mean, you saw what happened against San Francisco. So I think they go Cooper DeJean here, try to solidify that area more.
Interesting. That was a player I was 50-50 on, by the way,
Mm.
was Cooper DeJean and Chop Robinson. Pick 30. This is your pick. Who do you have the Ravens taking?
The Ravens. See, I think they're gonna franchise Mandubike, but I still have them taking Byron Murphy here.
Interesting.
It's just
If they tag MBK and get Byron, that'd be kind of crazy. That interior would be really good. Probably
no.
what is that the best interior in the league if that's how it plays out?
I mean, yeah, and I think they just love the interior. They just love the pass rush. You have more veteran outside guys,
Mhm.
younger inside guys. It just seems like a Raven pick to me, Byron Murphy, and I think I thought about receiver. I thought about it, but I think they'll
It'd be
go
tough.
receiver
That'd
later.
be that would be four receivers or four first round picks invested in receivers the
Mhm.
last 5 or 6 years for Baltimore. So
Mhm.
definitely get that thought process. So pick 30. I had Ravens trade up from this pick with the Packers. So I have Packers at this selection, and they take cornerback Cooper DeJean. And this,
Mhm.
I think, for Packers, even if he's not the best corner, I think you could possibly shift him over to safety. And they do have a need at safety, so I think this gives the Packers a lot of flexibility of where to use them on the field. And I think really for Packers, it's either offensive line or somewhere on the defense. And they've invested in pass rush. They were Sean Gary. They invested in pass rusher last year. I think Cooper DeJean's a pick here.
Green Bay fans would love those old Green Bay fans would love an Iowa cornerback
Mm-hmm.
potentially playing safety. That'd be good. That'd be good
Mm-hmm.
meme stuff. There'd be so many memes.
31st pick. I have the 49ers staying at this pick. I have him
Mhm.
taking offensive tackle Graham Barton out of Duke. So you had
Mhm.
him go earlier. I think offensive line is the obvious need of 49ers that
Mhm.
they have to address. And you saw in the Super Bowl, game clinching play for the Chiefs where Chris Jones went unblocked. I think they haven't really invested in offensive linemen since Kyle Shanahan's been there, but I think they have to start doing that because protection outside and Trent Williams is getting older. They need to that front line needs to be much better.
I can see it. I see what you're saying. I just don't see him taking offensive lineman first round. I just don't think they're going to go there. And I
I'm
was
interested to
kind
see
of
where you go on this pick then.
stuck on this a little. I'm looking at the pick and I don't hate it, but I don't love it. TJ Tampa, Iowa State cornerback.
A little
I don't
early
know.
for me, but
They kind of just got, yeah, it is early, but they just kind of got a little. The defense wasn't what it could have been. It wasn't what it was thought to be. And I was thinking, I just don't like the Pat. This was probably my least like confident pick of the entire first round mock. But I have TJ Tampa. You could convince me anywhere. I just don't see him going O line, but I don't dislike O line. But yeah, they need to get better on defense. I thought they're going to be better. I think offense is still their strength. We'll see what happens with Ayuk, if that makes anything weird for them.
I think at
Yeah,
this point, I think they're going to trade Ayuk. And to be honest, we had this
I'm awake. I'm
conversation.
awake.
We've
I'm
had we,
awake
we've had
because
this
we see
conversation
this
a
happen a
few
lot.
days ago. But okay, so football player in totality, I think Deebo Samuel is a better football player than Ayuk. But from a
Hmm.
receiver standpoint, I think Ayuk's a better wide receiver than Deebo Samuel.
No,
And I know that may
I
be
could.
confusing, but like I receiver wise, I see Ayuk being better than
Yeah, you're saying
Samuel.
like you want
Route running, separation, like I think
you need like a third and 11. You
yeah, like I
take
think he's more
Ayuk,
talented than Debo.
but
I think Debo's just more. You
if you
can
need
do
like a
more stuff with Debo.
if it's like first down and you need to get this first down in a couple plays, Debo's the guy.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. No, yeah, it
yeah.
was a tough pick for me. I don't know. They're a little weird because they're so good too. It's like the
Mm-hmm.
Steelers, but they're so much better. So
Last
this is
pick
my
of
final
our
pick.
mock. Last pick
Okay,
of mock draft. The Kansas City
I
Chiefs, back-to-back Super
bet
Bowl
we have the
champions.
same pick, and it's the same pick as so many people mock into the Chiefs. Troy Franklin is mocked to the Chiefs all the time, I feel like. And I have Troy Franklin here. Feel like it's receiver. Everyone loves Franklin. He's got some speed. He's a little taller. Maybe be that deep threat. I think the receiving stuff is obvious. Rasheed Rice is good, but A lot of drag stuff. Kelsey's still there, but maybe Franklin could be the guy to take it over top. I feel like it's one of the more like consistent picks and overall mock drafts.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs have used so many picks, especially first round picks on defense the last few years. I think receiver is obvious pick here. I actually have a different pick than you, and I'm surprised you didn't realize that this player is still on my board. I have a Donnie Mitchell.
Yeah.
And this is my dream. I will love the Chiefs to get Donnie Mitchell. He's probably dream scenario. I think he's actually a really good fit with the Chiefs. Texas guy. Mahomes likes his Texas guys. Rasheed Rice is a Texas guy. I think Mitchell, I think, is a great fit with the Chiefs, and I think the Bills should take Mitchell, but I think they end up taking Keon Coleman. So I think Mitchell, best receiver left on the board, and Franklin. I think Franklin's good, but his size worries me a bit. I think he's a little skinny. Like how tall is he? Is he 6'2", 6'3"?
Yeah, he's 6'2" or 6'3".
He's just a slight frame, so I like a Donnie Mitchell here.
I forgot. Did you have Brian Thomas in your mock?
I did. To Ravens. I haven't trained up and taken Brian Thomas.
I'm trying to think of like the best player we each left off. Why am I blanking on the Washington offensive lineman?
Oh, Troy
Patanu?
Is that who you left off?
Yeah.
I left off who's the Toledo corner?
Keanu Mitchell.
Quinton Mitchell.
Quinyon, don't even ask me on pronunciation.
It's Quinton, I think. Quinyon. Yeah, I don't have him in the first round. So what was your of my picks? And I could read you off my board if you want to, but which one of my picks was the most surprising or kind of just like head scratching to you? Is there any that stood out? And I could read you the
go through.
Okay,
go. I know, like
first four
go
we
through
know.
like, we go through like from 10.
All right, so 10. The 10. This is probably the one. Talise Fuaga. I have a 10.
I mean, I would just take Fashanu, but offensive lineman, I'm not going to do that because that's just not something we're going to be killers on.
Yeah. J.J. McCarthy at 11 to Minnesota. Bo Nix to the Broncos. Terrion Arnold to the Raiders. Olu Fashanu to the Saints. Nate Wiggins to the Colts. I have the Eagles trading up, taking Kool-Aid McKinstry. Jacksonville taking J.C. Latham. Bengals taking Amarius Mims. Mm-hmm. I have Jerry Verse slipping to the Rams. Jerry Verse slipping to the Rams at 19. Mm-hmm. Troy Patanu going to Steelers. 21, I have the Dolphins taking Jackson Powers Johnson.
I like that.
Seattle trading back, taking Michael Penix. Houston taking Byron Murphy at 23. Mm-hmm. Cowboys taking Tyler Guyton at 24. Ravens trading up for Brian Thompson at 25. Tampa Bay, Latu slipping to 26. 27, I have Cardinals.
I mean, Coleman. That's why was I blanking? I knew I didn't. Coleman
to 28. Okay.
I mean, yeah, that. I take Fashanu at 10. Bengals, I wouldn't go another offensive. And then Seattle, I just don't think you trade back and then take a quarterback. That's what of mine were you?
I'm trying to remember your board.
So I
J.J. McCarthy surprised me, but like a lot of people have. I just don't see with J.J. McCarthy, so I disagree. I don't think he's even a first round quarterback, but that's here nor there. That kind of surprised me, but I want like people. There's definitely.
Well, you didn't.
A thought process.
You didn't like Penix to Miami in mine.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that one. I think they already have him and two are almost the same type of player, except I think Penix is obviously better in my opinion. But I just don't see that. I'm trying to think of other players he possibly. I'm trying to think of other picks.
I mean, we had a lot of similar picks.
Houston, you had taking an edge rusher, I believe.
Chop Robinson, yes.
Yeah, Chop Robinson. I like that pick. I really don't know. Who'd you have for Ravens? You didn't have who'd you?
Byron Murphy.
Yeah. Okay, who was the player that you had early? Like that I think is too early to go.
Oh, Newton?
No. You had I'm like, I don't think the guy's a first round pick. It was later in the first round, I believe.
Deshaun? Barton?
No.
Oh, TJ Tampa. Well, I wasn't really a big fan of that.
TJ Tampa was the one that that was probably the most head scratching one to me.
No, yeah.
I thought Niners was tough. I thought overall mock draft I thought it was pretty good mock drafts by both of us. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays
We
out. I'm
usually
keeping
do
all the
more
copies.
trades.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep the copies of all these mock drafts and see how it plays out. And of course, stuff will change with trades and all that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
most mock drafts are not too accurate, so we'll see how we do.
well, especially because I only have 2 trades, we only have 1. So yeah,
It's tough to predict trades in this year with unless, like with what we said, if the Patriots or Washington sign someone at quarter, if Patriots make a signing at quarterback to where it's like, oh, he's their starter, it's like, now this is fun because now the third pick is up for grabs, and this could be Giants, could be Falcons, could be Vikings, could be Denver, could be Raiders. A battle to trade for the third pick would be really fun, or they could surprise everyone, take Marvin Harrison.
yeah, because man,
that's what makes that pick so fun. If Patriots find a quarterback in the offseason, that makes it fun.
Yeah, it's so tough because like I've seen reports of Washington and New England both being willing to trade back. For Washington, with that ownership, I find it hard to believe that they're just gonna roll it back with Sam Howell or sign a Russell Wilson or something. Like I feel like you're at the second pick, you can either take Daniels or like let's say it was flip flopping your third pick, so you didn't really get a choice of your quarterback that you wanted.
Yeah,
for your second pick, you have between May and Daniels.
I was just going to make that point.
You don't need receiver. It's kind of tough for me to believe that Washington's even considering trading back. I think Patriots really like. I've seen reports they really like Jane Daniels, and of course, it's tough to believe everything that's being said. I mean, I don't know. I don't think everybody's showing their cards. I don't think anybody ever shows their cards fully. But like, if Drake May was at 3, I can definitely see Patriots more likely trading that pick. Like I said earlier, I think Giants are a really good fit for May. I think Minnesota, regardless of who's at 3, I think Minnesota may be the most aggressive team trying to trade up with their pick. Like we saw last year, there was that report that they offered 5 first-round picks for Anthony Richardson. I think if May's there, they may not offer as much, but if Daniels is there, I think they're going all out for that trade. But the Raiders, I just don't. Because the thing with Patriots,
I have Kirk to Raiders. I think Raiders going vet.
The thing with Patriots, they're a franchise. They were a dynasty. You had Tom Brady. You had all this success. They probably hate being at this spot of the draft, and they probably don't want to be at this spot at the draft again. So it's like it's tough for them to see them pass up a quarterback. But like if you get like 5 first-round picks for a minute, like because Patriots really have a lot of holes on that roster. Like they receiver they need.
O-line could be better.
Offensive line needs better. You probably secondary I think is fine.
They usually I guess they don't have Bill now. Bill, even though he wasn't the best past few years, he always figured out the secondary.
Yeah, it's tough. Like it's tough. It's because
they're usually all right.
Let's say Giants want to trade up. Washington's not going to trade the second pick to Giants. That's just not going to happen.
No, it's a fun. That's why I'm now rooting for Baker to go to Patriots. And then it just to be like, are Patriots going to take Marvin, or are they going to get a haul from someone?
So the fact that there's all
our team's going to wait. I was like, our teams are going to wait to trade up third pick.
With all, has your confidence in Daniel Jones wavered? There's been so many reports that
he could still be good, man. Give him Malik Neighbors and at least someone to help protect him. And
I know. Well, let's say they trade up.
Well, then if they trade up, then things are changing, Logan. Daniel Jones on the open market. Be a little interesting if anyone want to. Well, I guess most teams would just want to wait till his contract's done.
Or if they need a backup.
Okay, pal. Daniel Jones in Las Vegas, wouldn't it be bad? I don't think it wouldn't take a lot. Okay, here's the thing. If you have a ton of cap space and you like Daniel Jones, it wouldn't take a lot to trade for him. And then if he's not great, you get Logan. What you don't?
Okay. What quarterback would you rank him? Mahomes, Herbert, and let's say Bo Nix goes there.
What? I mean, yeah,
let's say Bo Nix goes to Denver.
Okay, but then you're just like, if you're the Raiders, you're not getting anyone. If you don't get Kirk, I'd take Daniel Jones over Bo Nix right now. I still like Daniel Jones, man. I still like Daniel Jones. If you gave him Devontae and Jacoby and solid protection and Michael Mayer and a good culture, I think even more than good offensive coaching, he's more good culture, needs good culture to maybe build himself up and I think Pierce is. I don't know how good of a coach he'll be because interns don't usually work once they get hired, but you can't deny that dude built a culture so quick and like damn, that's I love Dan Campbell, so if the Raiders are playing well early on, I'm gonna be on the Pierce train of he's a great coach.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, we're very early on the mock draft season. It's only March 1st, so still a
Yeah, we'll
couple
probably
months.
do
Is the draft in late April? Is
yeah.
that late April? So almost 2 months away from the draft. So a lot to discuss, and a lot will probably change from now until even
Yeah, it
2 3
always
weeks from now.
does.
Because free agency, a lot of pieces of the puzzle will be solved. So things will change here in about a week or two. Things
Hmm.
are really going to change, and there may be a trade that happens with this is the time of the year where we see trades happen in the draft. Combine, a lot of people think combine is just about evaluating the players, but it's also these teams are getting together and discussing possible trades, possible scenarios of free agency. So I can definitely see a trade going down here in the next couple of days.
I think Fields gets traded within a week.
Oh, I think it's gonna be
If
this weekend.
I think before we
I think it's gonna be
record
Saturday or
another
Sunday.
episode, I think before we record another episode, he's traded.
Yeah. So really interesting. As always, make sure to like the video, subscribe, leave comments on any type of content that you guys want. We will be talking about we've been talking about football exclusively on this podcast, but we will be shifting over to some March Madness NBA talk
Hmm.
here shortly, especially March Madness here in the next couple weeks.
Hmm.
So if football doesn't interest you fully, make sure to tune in for some basketball coverage. I know Luke's more of a basketball guy than I am, but
I'm more
we definitely
NBA
both
guy,
NBA. But yeah,
and
but
I've been covering K State, so
we're both really huge college fans. March Madness, we watch every game. So if basketball's more of your criteria, make
tempo.
sure to tune in. But yep, so as I said, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and you can also find our link to our Spotify channel as well. So until next week, stay safe, have fun, and I know Luke's going to Fake Patties tomorrow, so
Hmm.
be a fun day
Good
for him.
times. Good times.
Yep.
Peace.